Hi, my name is Ian McClarty. I'm president of Phoenix Snap. I would like to thank everybody for joining us today for this exciting webinar. With me, I also have Alex Henthorn-Iwane, Chief Marketing Officer for PacketFabric, and David McLean, Senior Solutions Architect and Team Lead for PacketFabric. Today, we will be going over empowering the network agility in a multi-cloud environment. At the end of today's presentation, we will have a $100 Amazon gift certificate giveaway that will be done at a random drawing. So please stay with us until the end, and we'll be announcing the winner live. Before we begin, there's a couple of poll questions we would like to gain from the audience. The first, do you have a direct connection to your cloud providers? A for yes, B for no, or C looking to implement. And I'm going to give the audience, 15 seconds here to respond, so we can gather that and share that with the audience as well. Now we have a second poll question, which is, how long does it take to get authorized access to a data center? 1 day is A, B for a few days, or C for weeks. And we'll be sending the results out to the community after the webinar. Okay, so today's multi-cloud landscape. According to Gartner, the 81% of respondents say that they're working on 2 or more cloud providers. We personally see this in our environments. I would say for our numbers, it's actually a little bit higher than that. I don't want to say 100%. Because it may be untrue, but every single interaction that we have today is with especially when it comes to clients that are very vocal, is very much about multi-tenancy and multi-cloud environments. Their solutions are typically multifaceted with traditional services like co-location services, and even running their own on-prem VMware stacks or VMware stacks third party, and plus interconnecting all that with public cloud. That is a very common use case nowadays. What we also hear are people that are in the into the single public cloud landscape that were born in the cloud. Those organizations typically are looking for a multi-tenant strategy or multi-cloud strategy to be able to back up their current environments. A vendor lock is definitely a concern for many organizations today. It's something that everybody's tried to avoid, and it's also a lot of times a mandate from the board, from the executive boards. It's just not a good business practice to be a single vendor anywhere. So that's a strategy that is very much embraced. And from a risk and compliance perspective, that's also something that is covered significantly is having proper business continuity plans and backup and recovery plans. And it's very difficult to do when you are running everything from a single vendor perspective. So it's something that is driven not from just a board perspective and also from a risk perspective, but also from just better business practices. Also, most modern applications today are very much ephemeral. Infrastructure specifically is very much seen as something that is there to service the application. And when a lot of companies are running infrastructure as code operations, we do see a lot of customer base and use cases that are going down that path. They're saying, hey, look, my application is very modular. My code stack is very destructive when I deploy, especially when it's brand new code stacks. It's within my CI/CD pipeline to go out and to just do a destructive build every time I launch. So a multi-cloud landscape lends itself very nicely to that, especially as there's a future expansion that's happening, or an augmentation or growth into more regions or net new regions. There's definitely a mix of current applications that are very monolithic and they're just hard to get rid of. There's a reason why even in our data center we still see mainframes. I still see a mainframe here or there, and they're just very hard to get rid of. Monolithic apps are very much similar to that. Right now, a lot of organizations are taking the time and they're taking the effort to modernize the application, making sure there's an API, making sure that our clients have data streams available to them. So a proper microservice architecture is definitely being embraced by new organizations. But one interesting stat I got from Gartner recently, and this is not a public stat, this is more speaking with one of the analysts. I was asking, hey, if you would look at the landscape today, truly, who's cloud native right now, all born in the cloud, and who is working towards that journey? And his answer was like, look, only 10% is truly cloud native today. 90% of the market is still running a traditional mix of monolithic apps. They're working very hard to go microservice architecture. They're making it a mission of their corporation to make that happen, but it's a journey more than a destination at this point. And so there's definitely the reality of 90% of us, myself included, that are going through that journey at the moment. Which also, because of these reasons, network as a service models are increasing, popularity. And PacketFabric is actually was one of the early organizations that really embraced this as a true network as a service model, with like software development first type philosophies, and making it easy to burst and to change on the fly. We ourselves are a very happy PacketFabric customer. We've been using PacketFabric for many years, and have had really good, a really good growth and scale out for our backbone services. So now that we look at like what's happening today from COVID, I hate to bring it up in webinars, but it's a very prevalent thing still. There's definitely been a change because of COVID. Projects that were secondary to like maybe having remote workforce availability, telecom remote presence availability, they have become front and center. What we're also seeing is a rebound effect actually now, where customers are now going back in, and so it's causing a lot of disruption. We're starting to see early organizations start coming back in from a COVID perspective as well. So there's still going to be a lot of networking projects that are going to be either that were finalized because of COVID, or they're still right in the middle of getting finalized that need to be finished up. And so the need for the network actually is very much in flux right now, and it makes it difficult. It makes it difficult to do planning. It makes it difficult to do more traditional telecom. This is where companies like PacketFabric really come in and really help, especially when it comes to ambiguity. I mean, you speak to a lot of management teams themselves, and they're not even sure when their staff is going to be 100%. They're still doing planning. They're still trying to figure out how much of the workforce is going to be 100% or remote, partial. There's still a lot of unknowns. So when there's unknowns like this, people like PacketFabric actually on the network as a service side actually really lend themselves nicely to this kind of like burst equation. So and again, the remote management side at scale is a big pain. Traditional telecom services are a big pain to do that. Interconnecting all these services and then doing interconnections back out to your main branches is very difficult for organizations to do on the traditional it was difficult to do pre-COVID. It's even more difficult to do now with COVID. So again, this new adoption of network as a service is very relevant right now to the market, and PacketFabric is definitely a key part of that equation. So just to recap, quick network as a service type benefits: scalability, simplicity, resilience, and cost. Really, at the end of the day, it's an easy button for a lot of organizations to embrace services that, like, as a network as a service like PacketFabric in the market of a provider and vendor that really helps you have that agility. Really is strong with an organization like that. And to go into a little more detail, I'm going to turn it over here to Alex.
Great, thanks, Ian. Appreciate the opportunity to present here, and thanks for everyone's time. I want to pick up on a couple of themes first that Ian mentioned. First, I really like the stat that Ian you shared about how only 10% of orgs are considered cloud native versus who's on the journey to becoming, fully cloud-based. And I think that sort of relates to becoming a digital business, culturally, technically, and operationally. But in a sense, you can't not be a digital business today. And in digital business, agility is pretty much the name of the game because things move fast and you don't know what the future holds. And I think this quote captures this really nicely. Ian also covered a lot of the reasons why hybrid and multi-cloud architectures are being chosen. To some degree, this comes down to agility as well. These architectures are popular because, yes, they reduce risk, but also because they give choices. I mean, if you can't exercise agency over your cloud architecture, how agile is that, after all, right? Now, what happens is, as cloud adoption rises in an organization, let's see if I can advance this slide. There we go. Is that you end up with an architecture, and Ian talked about SD-WAN and all that, that you end up with an architecture that kind of looks like this, where at the bottom are your offices and remote workers, your customers coming over the internet, partners, et cetera, and you're getting them to your service edge via SD-WANs and secure access service edge, security clouds, and there's of course internet, mobile networks. But in the center is what we call the cloud core. It's where all your mission critical applications and data are flowing. So by mission critical, you could think of inventory management, payment, transaction processing, financial reporting, booking systems, business intelligence, as well as just all that aggregated employee and customer traffic coming from the edge. And this cloud core will generally consist of a set of hyperscale type cloud providers, data centers from leading providers like Phoenix NAP, and then enterprise SaaS like Salesforce. And you're moving data between them because the value of data in this environment is the ability to move it to where it needs to be to process or to get to users, et cetera. So one of the questions we like to ask, or I like to ask, is what constitutes your cloud core? Now, if you have that picture forming in your mind, then this is the other key consideration that relates to agility, is that this cloud core has to satisfy 4 different types of demands from the business. The first is the easiest one to understand. It's the steady state, your normal everyday demand, and that demand generally grows over time in a relatively predictable fashion. But then there's some other ones that are a little bit harder to handle. One is seasonal demand. Lots of businesses have seasonal demands. That's not just retail, there's travel, there's back to school season, there's tax season, or it could just be the end of every financial quarter, or you may have your own seasonality that's special to your business. Then beyond that, you have sort of ad hoc demands, and I've labeled this innovation because that's a positive term. Could be innovation projects, could be site migrations, should be short-term business initiatives. And there are actually some industries that function extensively on this basis, like media and entertainment, where like a creative production, like a animation production, actually is formed as a distinct business entity, but that may only last for 6 to 9 months. Then finally, there's disruption, which could be when you need to respond suddenly to new opportunities, there's new regulations, there's mergers and acquisitions, but it also can include those disaster recovery scenarios where all the data you've been backing up incrementally has to all move suddenly, right? So the good news is that the hybrid multi-cloud architecture is great for this because it is quite agile, but there is a major problem, which is namely that the traditional connectivity choices have not been ideal because they force you to make some somewhat poisonous trade-offs. So if this is mission critical stuff, perhaps you choose to use telco connections. Now the advantage here is that they're private, secure, and they give you performance SLAs. But the problem, the downside is they're not very agile in a couple of ways. First, you have to commit up front for multi-year terms. But second, that upfront commit is point-to-point at peak capacity, anticipated capacity over that term. So that can lead to a lot of waste. And if things shift and in this hybrid multi-cloud architecture, cloud core, and that point-to-point connection becomes, there's less demand for it, it's less relevant. Well, too bad, you're stuck with that commitment. So let's say you want more any-to-any agility, you can use internet connectivity. The problem is it's neither private nor secure, and it doesn't matter if you have an overlay VPN tunnel, it's still the same internet underneath. And in addition, performance isn't as good or as predictable as a private service. And finally, the internet consumption model for cloud provider networks with egress charges can be, let's just say, inefficient if you're doing volumetric machine-to-machine type stuff on a hybrid multi-cloud basis. So that adds to a certain amount of risk in terms of that model. And there's some other, provider-specific connectivity solutions, but that may kind of get you stuck in just one cloud provider's network, et cetera. And that just creates barriers to movement. And none of those choices are ideal because, and I say it's somewhat poisonous trade-offs because they're not great for your business health, right? To have to make those trade-offs because they can lead to opportunity cost or waste or lower margins and all that. And at the end of the day, the problem with those kinds of choices is that your digital business success is just too important to leave to legacy technology and business models. So what you really want is for your connectivity choices to act like you expect the cloud to act. And that's really what we have created. So we're when you get all the characteristics of cloud in your connectivity, the agility, the on-demand, the elastic consumption, any kind of connectivity, the scalable, predictable performance, all that sort of stuff, the programmability, that's what we call connectivity cloud, and that's what we've built, and that's who we are. So we offer that kind of way of consuming a carrier class optical transport network without compromise or barriers, and so that you can move fast and do the things you need to do in your business and meet all those different kinds of demands. So the way that's delivered is also important because we have a super powerful platform. Like I said, it's a private optical backbone. We have over 50 terabits of network capacity across it. It's highly redundant. It's the 5 nines, not 9 5s, but 5 nines kind of, SLAs and performance SLAs, automated on-demand consumption. You're going to see some of this in the demo and at scale. And we're also very open. We're not a closed system. We're partner friendly. We try to maintain a lot of openness in the way we approach this. And we have an open marketplace. And then finally, it's just kind of like why you work with a provider like Phoenix Snap is, it's to a large degree, it's also about the people, the expertise that they bring. And we bring that expertise and really care to share it with you and along with our partners to make you successful. And that makes a big difference in the end of the day. How you succeed in business has a lot to do with who you travel with. And I think we really partner well together with our customers. So one last thing just to note is that we have a single platform, but that meets a lot of different diverse connectivity needs, from point-to-point connections, hybrid cloud connections, multi-cloud routing, and we have a lot of different sort of elements that we can use very flexibly to set up the kind of custom network scenarios that you need to meet all those different business needs and demands. And with that, I am going to hand this over to David so he can show you some really cool stuff. So let me just do that, David, and make you presenter.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Excellent. So I like to start on the PacketFabric public-facing website for 2 reasons. One is to, of course, show you how to sign up and gain access to the portal. And you simply come in, click the Try PacketFabric button, place all your relevant company information, accept our terms and conditions, and you'll gain access to the portal. Our docs, this is very important and near and dear to my heart. Any technology that you can conceivably build across the fabric is outlined within our knowledge base. And it's more than just a knowledge base. It is truly a method of procedure on how to build all of our technology. And the use case that I've drawn up today is we're going to build a 10 gig port in Phoenix NAP. We're going to build a 50 meg hosted cloud connection over to the good folks at AWS using the Phoenix NAP egress point. And then we're also going to build a marketplace connection to one of our partners, Accelipath, that also resides within the Phoenix NAP. So with that being said, this is going to be the homepage that you come to when you initially gain access to the portal. Everything truly starts with an interface on the fabric. We certainly have the point-to-point technology, all the cloud connectivity, and I think you'll be very astounded by our marketplace and our partners that you can interconnect with just via a virtual circuit right off the fabric. Let's go ahead and start building up some technology. Simply click the interface icon. You can search on city code. We're going to go ahead and choose Phoenix NAP. I'm going to choose 10 gigs, but as you can see, these are available speeds that we have at this point of presence: 1 gig, 10 gig, 40 gig, and 100. The optic that's currently chassis. Our availability zones. Let me pause here and touch on this. This is diverse edge equipment, physically diverse edge stacks that we have that allows our customers to build in business continuity and disaster recovery solutions. And it's not just from the cabinet to the fabric. It's also facing the cloud service providers as well. And that's certainly a differentiator for us. I'm going to choose Zone B. We would give this a meaningful description. And our subscription terms, this is very important. Back to the flexibility, and you're going to hear that consistently, the simplicity, the flexibility of the fabric. We offer month-to-month terms, all the way up to 36 months. And I'll even pivot back as the circuit builds up and show you where you can glean this information on our public-facing website. We're going to build this up in the month-to-month term. Go ahead and place the order. Click OK. Now my internal REST API is actually building the circuit up real time. And within 2 minutes, roughly 2 minutes, we're going to have executable LOA CFA to take to the good folks at PNAP for you to trigger cross connect. While that's building up, I would like to touch on some additional security features that we have within the portal, such as MFA. We do support SAML and SSO, and Marketplace. So our Marketplace is simply if you want to be a member of the Marketplace, that allows other customers within our fabric to connect to you via the ecosystem. And that's simply you toggle over, put your relevant company information in here, and then you become a member of our Marketplace. So it's truly about partnership. And then add in a user, the simplicity of the fabric. We have 3 types. We have admin, tech, read-only, and billing. Admin gives you full read-write capabilities, the ability to manipulate the network, add and delete users. Read-only is what it sounds like, and billing only gives you access to the billing invoices here. So let's come back to our interface and see how that's doing. Perfect. It's in an active up-down state. We pre-patch all of our switch ports as we deploy every point of presence that we have. So rest assured, the day you do get your LOA CFA, it will be correct. So we're going to come to the 3-button ellipsis here. We're going to go ahead and generate the LOA. This would be your company's name. Click generate. It's going to populate here to the desktop. You can certainly save it straight away to your desktop if you so choose, but I'll show you where that lives within the portal as well. Come back to the 3-button ellipsis. We're going to go ahead and view your circuit now. You can see you're in that active up-down state. As soon as you procure your cross connect, this will come up. We give our customers 15 days to do so. If you ever wanted to change your monthly service terms, you will be held to the optic that we chose, 10 gig. But you can simply come in, click the upgrade button, and it'll show you the differential in cost. And from the time you click upgrade now, without any manual or human intervention, it'll prorate your service to this date within about 2 minutes. We make it very easy to configure your technology and upgrade your technology through the fabric. Our telemetry information, I won't run through it all, but as you can see traffic metrics, air metrics, our optical metrics. That's actual optical light levels, as well as transmit and receive power. I think that one's pretty cool. And documents. So this is where that LOA CFA lives that we just populated, as well as an executable sales order form if you want to order services straight away out of the portal. We just did that in about 2 minutes, and oftentimes I'll ask my customers, how long did it take you to get an executable LOA CFA from your incumbent? And you hear some pretty wild stories. So now let's go have some fun. Let's go build this 50 meg circuit out to the good folks at AWS, and we're going to utilize the PNAP egress point that'll take you to US West 1. So we come and click host to cloud connection. We're going to choose AWS, but as you can see, we have a ton of cloud providers within the ecosystem. We're going to use that source port that we just built up in PNAP. Now, if you look to the left-hand side here, these are going to be the AWS regions you're going to traverse. And if you look to the right-hand side, these are going to be the nodes that we're going to egress your traffic to the CSP. I'm going to scroll down nice and slow so you can take a look and see how many egress points that we have. And as I said, we'll go ahead and choose PNAP. I'm going to choose 50 meg, and I'm going to stick with the same availability zone. Just in case you would ever need a disaster recovery solution or a backup circuit, you could simply go in, build a port in zone A, another egress point in zone A, and now you are holistically and truly diverse through the fabric. This is where you're going to place your Amazon account information. You can use VLAN's 4 to 4094. You give this a meaningful description because this is going to flow through to your AWS console. I'm going to change that real quick, make it a little more relevant. And that's the cost for 50 megabits out to the good folks at AWS. Simply place the order, click OK. Now what you're going to see here is our APIs, our internal REST API, is doing API calls out to Amazon. And within about 30 to 45 seconds, you're actually going to see the connection request pending for you within your AWS console. And I will show you that. You simply go in, accept the connection, tie it to a gateway of your choosing, and build your VIF, and you're up. It's truly that simple. Excellent. So I'll show you where that lives within your AWS console. And you can see now we have a connection request pending for us from PacketFabric's APIs. Simply come in here, accept your connection, tie it to a gateway, build your virtual interface, and you're up against AWS that quickly. So now the long pole in the tent is truly how quickly you can get this cross-connect in place. And now what I'd like to show you is our marketplace. This is very near and dear to my heart, and it grows daily. I'd like to show you all the partners that we utilize. So you can simply click on the marketplace icon. And what you'll notice in here is we have CDN providers, we have storage providers, we have security companies, we have last mile providers, we even have hosted VoIP providers. To include ISPs. And I'm going to go ahead and choose AccelPath. And you can see they have two different egress points off the fabric with us. I'm going to go ahead and select Phoenix. I'm going to choose that port we just built up in PNAP. Sticking with my design, I'm going to choose 1 gig. You would give this a meaningful description. And if you notice here, what it did is it defaulted to the next available VLAN. Now let's say your ISP traffic lived in VLAN range 500. That's going to go ahead and true up. And we can place that order. Now what we've done is we just sent a connection request. So you can imagine this would be the customer's portal, not my demo G account. And the good folks at AccelPath will be reaching out to the customer straight away. We just sent them an email request to go ahead and negotiate the cost per meg, as well as any LAN IPs you might need, that, being that this is an ISP. And we just built up 3 different connections, and I'd say less than 15 minutes. And when you think about that, you know, how long does it typically take for you to get a cloud connection spun up, configured, ready to be utilized, as well as a cross connect? No longer are the days of waiting 30, 60, 90 days. We work in the realm of minutes. So we really are very transparent. All of our pricing is published on our public facing website, as well as our legal documents and delay. So if you ever want to see our SLAs, it's on our public facing website here, even latency metrics. We are a very transparent company. And with that, that's pretty much what I built for you today. I would love to schedule additional demos with you. We can go deeper into different technologies, different CSPs, but I just wanted to show you the flexibility, the simplicity of use, and I think we got that across today. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Ian.
Thank you very much, Alex and David. That was a really good and solid demo, and very quick too. To be respectful of time, I'm gonna go through and just give a quick update on why are we aligning ourselves to people like PacketFabric, and give a little more context around that. Today, our global footprint of PhoenixNet, we have over 16 locations that we service product out of. PacketFabric is the bulk of the transport on the back end. We do run some of our own transport, but we are moving more and more over to network as a service providers that can scale out with us and do it rapidly, especially when we see demand jumping from region to region. That's one way to service it. But the other one is products that we actually have in the ecosystem, making them more accessible to people, and being able to interconnect those products in a marketplace like PacketFabric is also great. Being able to publish and put endpoints, it's great to see some of our clients in there as well, being able to leverage. So we're able to interact with clients better. We're able to offer the clients that we service a better experience, and make it very easy to interconnect services. We run across 10 different global network pods today. Some of the regions actually where when you see 16 and 10, the difference is we're in multiple locations in one area, for example. It's actually kind of funny when you see like AWS, where it says US West California, but it's such a massive region. We actually, as Phoenix, we actually have a direct connect POP that we service for the entire Phoenix metro for AWS, and that is part of that California, technically, tranche. So when you see a US West location, US West 1, we're actually part of that ecosystem as well on the AWS side. We run quite a bit of bandwidth connectivity. We have today in counting 2.35 terabits per second of connectivity between the data center facilities. So it's expanding and growing, and it continues to increase. We just see the demand for bandwidth just being a big driver as well. And we were in multiple locations that they're a little bit more off the beaten path, like Sao Paulo, Singapore, and Sydney. Great for international expansions, as well as all the EMEA work that we've done over the years. We're pretty well diversified right now in the EMEA regions, as you can see, even going into regions that are a little bit lesser known, like Belgrade, as an example. We have different OpEx models, redundant global infrastructure, 24/7 support. We are actually in the Gartner side, as several mentions over the years for disaster recovery expertise. We also have awards that we won over the years, and then we're very much on the compliance side and security side. So today we do PCI. We also have HIPAA readiness enabled different SOC style reports as well. And we continue to go down the compliance path as more customers are requesting that from us. Specifically, the exciting part here is I'm going to go in and just break into the Phoenix data center itself, because that's really, from a connectivity perspective, it's a network hub. It is the network hub for the region. Today we service not just AWS, which again is very beneficial for the cloud on-ramps for networks like PacketFabric, but also Google Cloud is being serviced out of the metro for the region as well. So we provide Google Cloud interconnects as well, and that also marries itself very nicely to the PacketFabric ecosystem. So making it very easy for people to interconnect services. Again, that whole multi-cloud strategy I started with conversation, it's very relevant, it's very real, but it's also like even interconnecting services that are within that multi-cloud strategy. If you want to use Accelepath, for example, that's another answer. It's another part of the marketplace and ecosystem. So a lot of interconnectivity, and that's something that I don't think we spoke about enough in the presentation. Was there is an increase in network connectivity requests, not a decrease. Anything you can do to cut down that time is beneficial across the board. What was just shown by David, it will take us weeks and weeks, and we have experience in that field. Now we're able to do it in a matter of minutes. So being able to break down those barriers and that speed to speed is beneficial for everybody. I mean, it's a better delivery for the end client. It's a better client experience. It's also scales up, and it makes it just a path that is in a journey that is more acceptable and more resilient as well. We ourselves also offer a bare metal cloud product. We're very proud of it. We've spent a lot of time in software development. It is from the ground up a cloud native application, very much cloud native focused. It services the cloud native space. That 10% people who are in that space, it's a very good marriage to them. It actually works really well with public cloud, because think of it as this is in AWS speak. This would be EC2 components on steroids, but you can still use the entire ecosystem of AWS to do RDS, for example. So the bare metal cloud, the use cases for it are very much about high compute, HPC type style compute, big databases. Kubernetes clusters works very well with Kubernetes, especially when you want to take any kind of hypervisor or any kind of overhead out of the equation. Very simple system, very easy to use. We also embrace orchestration modules, so we have developed quite a bit of orchestration modules on our GitHub page. They're fully available, open source. But we also, and the big ones, I mean, all the big ones that are out there, but also lesser known ones like GitHub Actions. We actually embrace GitHub Actions quite a bit. We have a native Kubernetes controller as well. So very much in alignment to that next generation, that 10%, but then also aligned very well to that 90% journey client that is going through the journey and is trying to become, is trying to basically be an all digital organization, as Alex mentioned earlier. And with that, a quick poll questions as we wrap up. First up, would you like to get in touch with either PhoenixNAP or PacketFabric? If you want to just A for PhoenixNAP, B for PacketFabric, C for both. We'll make it very easy either way. And if you end up in the wrong bucket, we'll help you along the way. So no issues there. If you're not interested, not at the moment, that's cool. No worries there. But again, would appreciate the information. And again, we'll be sharing this back to all the attendees at a later stage. And we like transparency as well. We'll show results. So with that, I would like to now do the drawing. Let's see, and it's a random name picked out from the attendees. So let me see here who our winner is. And our marketing department will be reaching out and coordinating delivery of that for the winner. Before that, I do have a quick Q&A though. I do have a couple questions that we do need to put out. If anybody out in the audience have any questions that we may bring up or talk about, this is to any of the panelists that spoke today. Milena, do you see any questions on your end?
We have a question from the audience. Do you offer data center interconnections not involving cloud providers? How is that different from a VPN connection, and how is that all priced?
I'd like the PacketFabric guys take a hold of that. I can answer it really quick just from a co-location data center facility perspective. We do offer services that are more like just cross-connect features, right? That are more like direct to each other or direct for people in our ecosystem. And we can extend that out through people like PacketFabric also from a cloud on-ramp perspective. So it isn't all cloud-based, but PacketFabric also in their marketplace has availability to end applications support as well. But I'll turn it over to the PacketFabric guys to give more detail.
Sure. So what I'd also add is I showed you the hosted variety and how to connect to AWS, but we do have the dedicated variety as well. So you could order an outbound cross connect right off the fabric and provide us the LOA CFA. In this instance, in the scenario, we utilize PNAP. So you would actually reach out to your AWS team, get either a 10 gig or 100 gig LOA CFA, provide that right into the portal, and our CSM organization will actually run with it and tie down that back cross connect for you. Now, in reference to how is this different than VPN connection, you're not traversing a best effort internet, congested internet, and you don't have to go through load balancing servers and a slew of firewalls and security in order to deploy your technology. We're inherently secure, we're layer 2, we do not contend with the internet, our network does not touch the internet. So that's certainly a differentiator than a VPN connection. And there's not that overhead when it comes to encryption if you're running GRE or IPsec. So you're going to get full line rate speeds unimpeded across the fabric all the time.
Thank you, David. Milena, let's take a couple more questions to be respectful of time.
Yes, of course. We have one more question. Can you handle disaster recovery scenarios where you only pay for the bandwidth if you use it?
Absolutely. We do have a usage-based model, and that's for our virtual connections to our marketplace as well as between two data center nodes as an example. But when it comes to our cloud pricing and the hosted variety that I showed you, we do have flat rate pricing all the way down to 1 gig. So it's $100 from 50 meg increments down to 1 gigabit, and then it scales up to 10 gig as well. So very flexible pricing models.
No, and David, that's actually really cool from a couple different angles. Number one, on the whole compliance and better business practices angle, disaster recovery solutions are really more and more a bigger demand. I see that as a requirement now for a lot of companies, and they want to do it, but a lot of times they think it's very cost prohibitive. That's one space that where we have really targeted is having really good, strong disaster recovery solutions, and being able to interconnect back that connectivity is key. I mean, that's one thing that a lot of times doesn't get taken into account. People think just the compute side. Oh, hey, I got all my compute resources now moved over, But then what about any interconnects that you used to have to other applications, or interconnects that you had that were there for resiliency purposes, or for just better performance or security even? A lot of times those will become an afterthought, unfortunately. And so having an ecosystem, especially on a pay-for-use model like what PacketFabric offers, I think is just great for the market in general. I mean, it's great that you guys have taken that stance, and it's really good to be able to help
everywhere, Ian, as well. As I said, when we deploy a POP, we set it up in a high availability environment with the physically diverse edge equipment. So when we built this network from the ground up, that was top of mind. So yeah, disaster recovery is 100% top of mind across the fabric.
Yeah, and it shows for sure on the network side. Well, yeah. With that, oh, go ahead. Sorry, Alex.
I was just going to say, I mean, I think one of the reasons why the connectivity piece of it isn't taken into account is because the assumption is that's going to be prohibitive, and it's just too painful to think about.
Mm-hmm.
But with what we offer, you can have connectivity that's sort of at for baseline, and then you can have connectivity that is meant to sort of burst for that special need.
Agree. Well, with Milan, is there any more questions? Or how are we doing on time?
We have a couple of more minutes, and here is how can I connect to AWS through a dedicated network connection out of your data center?
I could take it from the PacketFabric side, but Ian's team within the data center also has the same ability to do direct connects to AWS as well as GCP, but you could utilize the fabric as well. As I said, you would just work with your AWS account team, provide us the LOA CFA at whatever speed you're going to interconnect from a physical perspective, and my CSM organization will have that cross-connect provision in 72 hours. And that's how we do dedicated connectivity, cloud connectivity.
And I can tell you from a data center perspective, I see clients leveraging multiple options, especially if it's easy for them to do, and they have a very robust networking team that has been doing this for a long time. It makes it it's very feasible for them to do direct connects all day long. But what they don't get is if they are not as robust on the networking side, or they are just, or speed is more of an issue where they need to be done even faster. That's where PacketFabric or even really small circuits that may be needed, right, for a specific location. PacketFabric really comes in, and that's where they really shine on that side. And again, sometimes it's just even looking at PacketFabric from a workflow management perspective, right, helping, especially running a very massive project that is complex. It's also very good for that, for being able to manage a lot of multi-cloud requests that you have out there. Managing 20, 30 CFA LOAs at the same time, I can tell you it's a bear. We've done it plenty. Having systems that can help you from a workflow management perspective, especially if for projects that may be very complex, is great. I mean, so that's another way to also look at PacketFabric, is to help you on some of that workflow.
Yeah, and I think just to comment on that, I think one of the things that we offer that's really different is from is the combination of the level of robust network and carrier class network that we offer. It's an extremely robust network, but we offer it with a tremendous amount of flexibility of options, or because this network is a consistent, robust network across the board globally, it means that you have a predictable way to consume those flexible services, kind of predictable pricing, all that sort of thing. So we just give you a ton of options, some really easy ones to execute, but with a ton of other flexibility.
I have one more question here from the audience. Can you give me the one thing that sets you apart from your competitors? And I'll put that back out to the PacketFabric team first.
Yeah, I can take that one. So when you think about our competitors, especially the cloud on-ramp side of the house, not traditional telco, we started at 100 gig as a network as a service provider, multi-100 gig at each location. And we actually had to scale down to compete with our competitors. So at one point, the smallest access port that we had was 1 gig. And we actually had to scale that down to 50 meg increments to compete with our competitors to ensure that we were, modeled exactly the same. It's much easier to scale down than it is up to compete. So that's my perception.
Yeah, and I'll just add, maybe just reiterating kind of what I said. I think that building at scale means that we can help your business scale. I mean, as far as I can see, demand for bandwidth is not going down. If you're growing your business, it's going to grow. It's going to grow fast. We've already built at that scale across the board, so we'd help you get there because we're already there. And you know, and then I think just the suite of services. You know, it's more than cloud on-ramps are good, but you may need a mix of services that we offer. Again, you know, that is just a little bit broader and just extremely robust. So I think that scale of network, the scale of the scope of services that you can leverage is the thing that really stands out for me.
Thank you. And on my end, I'm going to answer it with one word, which is web scaler. We're very unique in that regard. There are very few web scalers to begin with. There's actually less web scalers than there are hyperscalers. What a web scaler is defined as is an organization that has scale out capabilities from infrastructure services. They have global deployments. They very much feel and taste like a hyperscaler. The only difference is that we tend to be more intimate. We tend to like the relationships out of the house, building those out. We work more like a traditional sales organization in that regard, but yet we offer you all the same kind of tool sets, the same kind of like next generation cloud native applications support. And so we're very well aligned to where the market is heading, but we're trying to do it in a more intimate fashion versus just another Me Too in a hyperscaler world. And with all that, I did get a ping here from on the winner.
The random picker says that the winner at our raffle of $100 Amazon gift card is Matt Collins from HCSC, and Matt will contact you shortly after the webinar to send you your gift card.
Perfect. And thank you very much. I want to thank the audience and want to thank the presenters, David and Alex from PacketFabric. Great work, guys. If there are any questions, any follow-up, we're available. And please, we love to get feedback. Try not to make this so much salesy, but like that more general market where things are heading. And that's why we try to put more stats, focus on it, and just observation what we're seeing in the market, you know, where things are from a kind of State of the Union perspective. With all that, I would like to thank the audience again and give back the remainder of your day.